just like to welcome you tonight, and thanks for making the effort to come out. And I know it's something that's on everybody's minds at the moment. It's the talk of the, I'm sure, in the shops and in your homes and everything like that. We decided to have the public meeting on the back of the last march that we had in the town, which we thought was great, considering the day that was in it. It was an absolutely awful day, and still 400 to 500 people came out that day and marched through the town of Athy. So that just shows that there's a clear message that the people of Athy are against the water charges and want to see the abolition of water charges. What we'll do tonight is just have a quick chat. We want to talk about the next demonstration that's going to happen. It's going to be a national protest, and go through a few things like that, and then we'll open the floor to Q&A. As I said, we're hoping to have a couple of people here tonight. Thomas is here tonight, so I'm sure he'll answer any questions that anybody has regarding Sinn Féin's position or his own position on the water charges. I was just looking in, I didn't get a chance to read it on Sunday, but one of the papers here, and one of our local TDs was in the paper saying that there really is a need to slow down for the pace of this, and that water should be, the bill should be put back until everything is sorted out. Well, to be honest, that's all well and good, but I'm not here, and we're not here to say we want Irish water bills put back for down the line. Our page doesn't say, Athy says, can you put the water charges back for another 9 months, please? It says Athy County Kildare is against water charges, and for me that means full stop, because it's an absolute quango, as everybody knows, and it just can't continue as far as we're concerned, because they can put all the caps they want on it and they can reduce it down, but there's a lot of issues now going on with Irish water, and if it continues, it's not going to end up that it's going to always be in our power. I don't believe the government when they say it won't be privatised, so it's heading that way. So we might pay a modest charge of €200, very modest, yeah. But that might be for this year, but it won't be a year on year after that. I believe it will just go up. And the poor and the vulnerable people and the elderly people, and as we're calling now, the working poor, will be hit the hardest. He did say something which I did agree with, and I said the water public relations is an absolute nightmare, and I think that's fair to say. Everything is changing week to week, nobody knows what's happening, so we could probably have questions here tonight, but I'd say it'd be very difficult for anybody to give a straight answer, because we don't know what's going on at the moment, and we're waiting on our government to come back to us in whenever they feel they're ready, in a week, in 2 weeks, whatever that may be. The junior minister, Anne Phelan, she said it would make sense not to issue the bills until there was certainty about price. Then she said, however, she's not sure that would be possible to delay bills. So she doesn't even know what she's talking about, because she's saying one thing in one breath, and in the next sentence, actually it's nearly all in the one sentence, she's saying, well, it's not possible. So that's why I don't believe anything, and nobody knows what's going on. We are working under the Right to Water campaign, as water is a human right. So when they have demonstrations, we kind of coincide with them. So the next demonstration, the next big demonstration, is on the 10th of December. It's a weekday demonstration. It's on a Wednesday, and they're going to the Dáil this time. And the reason why they're doing it on the Wednesday is because it's National Human Rights Day. So they're doing it with that. They also have a delegation from Detroit coming over, so I'm sure a lot of you are aware that they've actually had the water turned off over there for the last, I don't know, 6 months or something like that. So they actually don't have any water. And they're coming over. Delegation is being brought over from there because they've been standing out in solidarity with the Irish people too. We would love to have some people coming up. I know people attended the last time, everyone kind of went, you know, in their car, whoever could get there. But we really would love a group of people from Athy to attend the protest together. I know it's difficult with work and school and stuff. I'm personally going to send me young fella in and take him off really. But that's what I'm going to do. We want the Athy people to be able to march behind the banner, and that's what we're saying. No way, we already pay, we do pay. And we need to get back on the streets and be a part of it and you know, make our voices heard with all the other people as well. You might think that makes a difference, but if we all talk that way, sure, there'd never be a protest because we'd be waiting on everybody else to kind of do it. So I think this protest in particular means an awful lot to people. What we do have is we want to organise a bus. It would be a 54-seater, and if we could get that bus filled, it would be €8.50 per person to get to Dublin and to get back again. And as I said, we want to carry the banner. So I'd love to see people who can get in touch with us, and we can. Julia's given out a sheet there that your names and contact details is on. We're also on Facebook. Our numbers here, our Gmail address is there. And what we do is, if you want to book a seat, we'd get a €5 deposit and give you a receipt for that. So it's all a book board, and then you just pay the rest on the day, because we don't want to book a bus and nobody turns up. We won't have the money to pay the Royal busman. So look, that's it for me for the moment. I'm going to hand you over to the fundraiser. Do you want me to say that now? Right, I might as well while I'm talking, sorry. We're going to have a fundraiser night because we have been collecting money, and but it's just when we're at, like, you know, just meeting down in the pub, or we had a coin collection on the day of the march, but the money has gone on the like renting of the hall, printing of flyers, ink, you know, all that kind of thing, and just lots of different stuff. Even if we have extra money, you know, we could maybe put it towards the bus and make it a little bit cheaper again for people to get there. But we won't know that till we have more money in the kitty, because it does cost money to run this. So we're going to have a quiz night on the 28th of November. And we've booked Borsals, so it's the Bridge House. And we're going to have a quiz night. It'll be €4 person, sorry, €5 person, and 4 people to a table. So what we'll do is we'll get all the information of that out there as well, and we let people know, and we hope to see us down there. And look, we'll have a great night anyway while we're fighting this war attack. Okay, thanks very much. I'll hand you over to Declan Crowe here for a few minutes. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Lorraine. As you both know, it was these two women here that kick-started this campaign down in Athy. And it takes a lot of courage to get up off your asses and get out on the street and start to do something, you know. And these two women, you know, are two mothers, and there's nothing in it for them, like, other than the fact that, you know, they don't want to pay this charge. It's something that they feel very strongly about. And it's something that I feel, you know, that it's a great testament to do them that get up here and are still here carrying it on, and they need support. And it's great that you come out tonight, and I think that everyone should get behind the campaign here in Athy and get with it, you know, and carry it on. We were discussing here during the week about, you know, we knew that the government were going to come back with something, and they said it's a communications issue, you know, and whatnot and all this, right? But we were sitting down discussing this here among ourselves, and the thought we were coming to was that politicians don't seem to. Why would you trust politicians? Like this government in particular, they got into power on the back of saying a lot of things, and then the minute they were in power, they did quite exactly the opposite of what it was. So now they're coming out with a remedy for this situation. But what I'm saying is, when they come up with this checklist of things that's going to somehow soothe the masses with this what they see as some sort of a communication problem or things like this, why would you trust them? Politicians in general don't respect the citizens of this country. Like if you think back to the Lisbon Treaty, you know, they made us vote twice in it because as they saw it in their eyes, we decided we made the wrong choice. You then had the Fiscal Compact Treaty, which this government, refused to call it by its proper name. The name of the treaty was the Fiscal Treaty, but the government of the day refused to call it. They insisted on calling it the Stability Treaty. They sent out an information pack, and in every media interview and thing they'd done, they insisted on calling it the Stability Treaty. They wouldn't respect the democracy of the nation by calling it the proper title of the treaty, which was the Fiscal Compact Treaty. So what I'm saying to you tonight is, why, when they come up with this list of sweeteners, of this list of things that now are supposed to remedy this situation, why would you trust what they're coming out with? I certainly won't, because this is a government that got into power on the back of a pack of lies that Pat Rabin admitted to, that that's what you say before you get elected. And that's where I am on what's coming down the line. It's going to come out maybe, they said, around the 18th or 19th of this month, whatever this package of a remedy situation is. But from my point of view, I don't trust them. And as far as I'm concerned, it is not a communication issue. There's no miscommunication coming from my end anyway. The only communication is that they don't want to listen to it. They don't seem to understand what the people are saying. And that's why they didn't show up here tonight from Fine Gael and Labour, because they don't want to listen. If they had any respect for the people of Athy here tonight, they wouldn't be able to listen. And that's as far as I'm concerned. So I think we have to bring the message to them, and maybe we'll do that on a more regular occasion. So, you want to say it, Lorraine? Just say something.
I'll say something, yeah. Just going back over what Declan said. About not trusting. I don't trust him because Enda Kenny was out before the elections saying shame on them, shame on them, shame on them about Fianna Fail that were in power, giving out about the medical cards that took away from the senior citizens. What did they just do last month? They took 7,000 medical cards away from people last month, the Athy, knowing that the water charge bill is coming in January. Do you know, so it doesn't make sense. Also, the reason why I'm not paying as well is because, like the job what she said about the €200, in about €200, that's around €500 for me for my water because I have a water softener. It's costing me €234 at the moment for my water softener. That's for the salt and that's for the service that we have for the water filter as well. So it's not just €200 or €300. That's going to be about €500 for me with all these charges. And to pay about €100 to flush my toilet a year, no, come on. I might dig up a hole in the back garden and pee out there. I'm sorry for being disgusting, but it's just I don't trust them at all, and they're just making an ass of everything that they're doing as well. Like they're saying about like conserving the water, they're not conserving the water at all because there's burst pipes out there. There's people in Roscommon with a boil notice. Our water here is disgraceful in Athy. They're saying they're going to like fix all that maybe when the water charges come in, and we get all, how long is that going to take? Because they still have to pay back what 1.8 billion, 180 million, yeah, and 180 million, and then they had to pay for their high salaries and their bonus, or I mean their payment in So how long will that take? 5 years? 10 years? Also as well, they're saying that the first fix is going to be free. You're going to still have to pay them €188 to come out, a call charge of €188 to come out. So it's not free for your first caller for them to come out. And it's €188, which is someone's social welfare money, their weekly pay. Also, another thing that came up there now today that I noticed that the insurance companies as well, they're going to increase their prices. Don't know if anyone's aware now, that now seen in the papers. One insurance company, Alliance, has increased its home insurance to cover the cost of the lost water meters, and it's only limited to €1,000. And other companies, insurance companies, are considering changes as well of their policies. So be aware of that as well. Your home insurance is going to go much higher than what it is at the moment. So that's the reason why I'm not paying. I have a list here very long, and I could be here all night talking about it because there's a lot more to get through tonight as well. So I'm just going to pass it back over to...
I'd like to say, if they had 500 million to spend, why did they not put the people of Roscommon ahead of Irish Water and their parks and their pay? You know, what was so important about Irish Water? You know, but you think they would have looked after the people of Roscommon that were on the boil water notices before they did anything, you know? So that's where I'm going on that anyway. Yeah. So we'll open up to the floor. I know there's 1 or 2 politicians here now. So maybe we'll let them go first and let the people have their say then maybe, alright?
There is now developed a €3.5 million water softening system for the Barrow abstraction, which will benefit the people of... It's up with the plan as far as I know.
Sorry, Seán, is that going to issue refunds then to everybody who's already paid privately for their own water?
I have a Dáil question now this week asking if people who have had to put in softeners will get a deduction of any charge that they're asked to pay. Because I think if you can't drink the water and have to put in a softener, it's reasonable to ask. But I haven't done that.
Just in relation to that water softener treatment plant on the Barrow supply, I mean that doesn't cover the Rectangle and Wellfield supply. I mean you have the likes where that treatment plant covers the south or the north side of the railway track going through Kildare town, and you literally have neighbour upon neighbour with different qualities of water, and it's unequal because this neighbour has to buy a softener costing €600 to €800, like that lady said, €150 a year for salt, replace your shower, replace your washing machine, replace your kettle every year. That is an extraordinary cost on top of the introduction of consumption charges, which are highly regressive, where those who have least amount of money pay the most out of their wages. It's wrong. The consumption charge rates are wrong. The only way to pay fairly for water is through progressive central taxation, which we already pay for. It needs to be scrapped, and needs to be scrapped wholly and fully now.
There was so much money already pumped into Irish Water that what we have locally, it should go back to the local authorities as such. Sinn Féin's policy is that we scrap water charges. Our policy is plain and simple, that there should be a referendum. That's the two things. The scrapping of Irish Water would cost the taxpayer, I think it's €180 million to date. It would be an awful waste. We could bring it back into the local authorities. 4,000 local authority staff. I've a parliamentary question gone in through Deputy Crowe and Tala, and I have a question at the next council meeting to find out how many staff from Kildare have actually gone to work in Irish Water. There's been a huge amount of staff, We have a treatment plant out the road here that I've been told has a 20-year contract with Aviola.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been coming down the tracks. Our water is being sold to South Dublin.
So who's Viola then?
They're a French company. They run the water commercial water company that run all of the water in London actually.
So why are they involved with Irish water? What's they're going to spend it themselves. Yeah. So it doesn't make sense that we would keep anything like that going. Even Irish Water. If you look at the country, this government has scrapped stuff worth 100 million and more before, like the vote machines, Poolbeg, John Tierney. That's what he was looking at.
Maybe we should instead of paying €1 million a week to consultants, maybe we should pay €1 million a week to consultants to see what we can actually do with bringing it back to local authorities. I mean, it's as you said, there's people in this town in Upper St. Joseph's that are going through kettles nearly once every 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I met them yesterday. Yeah. There's people up there that when Irish Water put in their meters, it was like Turlockmore up there. There was little springs in the gardens. There was people up there that they were advised that they had to get a plumber in to fix them themselves. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous.
It is ludicrous, and some should have been done about years ago. But like at the same time, if we keep Irish Water, you're saying we should keep this, and then it should be like
no, it should be subsumed back to the power should be given back. What we have at the moment should be given back to the local authorities. Bring the staff members back to the local authorities.
Why don't you just get rid of Irish Water and send them all back to their jobs they were in the first place? Back to the county jobs.
It'll be cheaper in the long run.
Do you want to say something, Mark? Yeah, look, again, I'd like to thank you for the invite here tonight, and I apologise for arriving late. I did give you a call to say that I was under a bit of pressure. I had a meeting that I had committed to at 8 o'clock, so I moved it forward a bit and I got here. Again, look, I'm on the same lines as Seán has said. Look, Irish Water has been set up, and the scandalous waste of money, and like 19% bonuses after a year's work, and you don't have to have any performance related in relation to it. It's absolutely crazy. It's something that has had to be got rid of. It's like all Ireland that it did happen. We said we're doing it a new way and it's not going to happen, but unfortunately it is happening. I think that's absolutely scandalous. But the Taoiseach has come out with even in the last week that if people pay up, they'll get their bond or they'll get their tax relief or whatever, and it's kind of a threat really to people to say, look, sign up and you'll get them. If you don't sign up, you won't get them. And I don't think that is the route we should go. But certainly, and again, look, I go back and make points. I have a septic tank myself. I was on a well. I'm on the public mains now. There is a cost there, and Helena done that herself. From so like water is certainly a resource, and we've needed for life. But the ability to pay is enormous. And like you made the point yourself in relation to the property tax. There's no alleviation on ability to pay on the property tax, and there should be. If people can't pay, if people are paying their colour, if you're mortgage and negative equity, you can't pay your mortgage, and next minute you get the property tax, and there's no alleviation. It's absolutely crazy, and it has to be relooked at. And the ability to pay is that it's a scale basis, that the ones that can pay more pay more, and that's the way it should be. But with the water tax and the property tax, that's not the case, and that totally and utterly has to be looked at. Irish Water in its present identity has to be scrapped. That's basically why
we'll get back in touch, which is about the table quiz and everything as well. So we hope to see great support for that. And just the message that we are saying is we want this scrapped. We don't want €20 off, €30 off. I don't even want €100 off. They can give it to me for a tenner for all I care at this stage, because I don't trust them. And I don't trust Irish Water, and I don't trust the government, and I'm not paying, and I'm getting rid of Irish Water if it's the last thing I do. And I hope that people will stand here beside me and Lorraine at the next marches and at everything else that we're going to do, and get the people power back and get the people on their street.
Lorraine,